This episode of Power Book 4. Force tried to juggle so many side plots that it felt like the show was drifting away from the people we actually care about. We're only a few episodes away from the end of the entire series, yet we're spending long stretches with characters like Vic and Rae, Tseng and his girlfriend who already knows he's a mole, and a whole lineup of SOD members that barely matter. I get that they're technically important to this season's story, but when the show is on its final lap, it's frustrating to be pulled away from the main event. Let me know in the comments if you felt the same way or if these side threads worked better for you. Everything is supposed to be building toward that inevitable explosion between Tommy and Miguel, but before we get there, the writers are throwing in all these small conflicts. Tommy tying up loose ends, settling old debts, and running interference everywhere. And after Tommy realized D-Mac was still wrapped up with CBI at the end of episode 3, Diamond and Jennard suddenly had to scramble for an explanation. Tommy being Tommy, he didn't want to hear from anyone but Diamond. And to Diamond's credit, the man can lie like a pro. For a second, even I was buying the story he spun about protecting D-Mac and dealing with King Kilo, and I had to remind myself this is the same guy who has been quietly steering D-Mac toward disaster all season. But the real question is whether Tommy actually believes him. Tommy's too smart. He clocked Elise trying to play him in minutes. So is he trusting Diamond, or just waiting for the right moment to deal with him later? You all should definitely tell me your theories down below, because I'm honestly torn. Meanwhile, Tommy putting together a plan to keep D-Mac alive fell into place almost too easily. All he needed was a fall guy for King Kilo, someone to pin Mad Dog's death on, and suddenly Malik and Rashawn become puzzle pieces to sacrifice. And honestly, I couldn't bring myself to care about them either. They exist solely to move Tommy closer to running Chicago. Speaking of which, this episode was violent. Like, borderline horror movie levels. Rashawn's death went way harder than I expected. Felt like something straight out of an Eli Roth fever dream. But it did push the narrative that CBI wanted revenge and wanted it messy. And then we have Diamond pinning everything on Jennard, which could have blown up if Jennard went rogue. Right now, Jennard's trapped between wanting Shanti and Diamond on his side, even though those two would never tolerate each other as equals. He's trying to play both sides until the wall's close in, and you can already see that Shanti is clocking everything he's keeping from her. Her goal is still Che, and she's building her resume to get that meeting, especially now that she's reconnecting with Manny Fresh. Jennard's tantrum at the end makes me wonder whether Diamond might feel guilty and try to help him out more. And if Diamond gets Jennard in front of Che before Shanti does, that would blow everything wide open. That's the kind of drama I want. So tell me, who do you think Jennard would ultimately betray first? And then there's Stace's storyline, which is suddenly actually entertaining now that we know Tseng is the mole working against her. Claudia talking her way out of jail wasn't surprising, but volunteering to be bait for Tommy? That's either bold or unbelievably stupid, because Tommy isn't negotiating with her. He wants her dead. No deal is going to change that. But that's the fascinating part. Everyone wants Tommy gone, yet he's the one gaining more power. He's positioning himself as a major asset to Che, destabilizing Chicago from the ground up, and even lining up a future mayor as an ally. People are so focused on destroying Tommy that they don't realize he's setting himself up to run the entire city. If you're watching this far into the season, drop a comment and let me know. Do you think Tommy is actually unstoppable, or is the show setting up one last massive downfall? And if you're enjoying these deep dives, make sure to tell me what storyline you want me to break down next.